President Trump hosted the first meeting of the Board of Peace today here in Washington to discuss the future of Gaza, roughly 2.5 years after the war between Hamas and Israel began. More than 24 countries have signed on to become members of the Board of Peace, but representatives from more than 40 other nations that haven't quite yet signed up attended as observers, informally so. The president said the United States would put $10 billion behind this effort, the effort to rebuild Gaza, but didn't say where the money would come from or what it would be spent for. The president also provided a potential timeline. We underscore the word potential timeline for when the United States might launch a military strike against Iran.
So now we may have to take it a step further, or we may not. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days.
Earlier, I spoke with Matt Kroenig of the Atlantic Council about what's realistic for plans to rebuild Gaza as well as the military buildup in the Middle East. Here's our conversation. We will get to the Board of Peace in a moment, but a much more pressing and much less peaceful issue is Iran. Matt, do you think U.S. attacks on Iran at this stage are nearly inevitable?
I think they are nearly inevitable, Major. The president would like a deal. I think it would be a big political win for him if he could say he got a nuclear deal that was better than the Obama deal. But the Iranian leadership is stubborn. They're digging in their heels and not willing to agree to that. And so I think the diplomatic track is not going anywhere, and the president will then turn to the military option, which could be coming any day.
Is that a military option designed to further deteriorate whatever is left of Iran's nuclear capabilities, or to change the regime?
Well, that's a big question. And, just a reminder about how we got here. In December, we had these historic uprising within Iran against the Iranian government. President Trump drew a red line and said if the Iranian government kills its own people, that there will be a price to pay. He told the Iranian people that help is on the way. He couldn't take action at the time, though, because U.S. military forces were in the Western Hemisphere. He's now had time to reposition forces to the region. He saw an opportunity for diplomacy. That opportunity is passed. And so now I think it's what is the purpose of the military operation? I think there are some advisors arguing that this is the moment for regime change. Others probably saying, no, let's just do limited strikes, make sure the Iranian regime pays a price, and then get out. So it'll be up to the president to decide.
I promise we'll get to the Board of Peace, but one last question on this. How much does the Iraq 2003 and aftermath hang over this decision that confronts President Trump?
I think it does hang over him, and he wants to avoid repeating the mistakes of Iraq. And so on one hand, he said that he wants a decisive option that achieves real results. On the other hand, there is the fear that if you take out the regime, what comes to replace it, and do you have chaos? And so I think those are the kinds of issues he's going to be thinking about over the coming days as he weighs his military options.
On the Board of Peace, what strikes you as interesting about who's in and who is not yet in?
Yes. Well, and again, maybe just a reminder of how we got here. Israel and Palestine have been fighting for decades, renewed conflict after the October 7th attack. And we got this peace deal last year, Trump's 20-point plan that includes creating a Board of Peace. And it's important that there are many majority Muslim countries that are a part of this, because it's going to play a role in rebuilding and securing Palestine. And so with Hamas there needing to be disarmed, having Muslim peacekeepers go in, I think will be helpful. Many of America's traditional allies, though, like Britain and France, have not yet signed on. And I think there are a couple of reasons for that. One, they're worried about Trump's comments that suggest that this could become a kind of parallel to the United Nations. And also, Trump has extended some invitations to unsavory characters like Putin. And so it's not the usual mix of American like-minded allies that are a part of this board.
And there are some who fear this is just a real estate deal run amok.
Well, I don't know. I think that Trump does really value his role as a peacemaker. He talks about the peace that prevailed during his first term. He has been very active in the second term, trying to negotiate peace in several ongoing conflicts. And so I think that is the main purpose of this, is to bring peace to this region. But Trump is a real estate person. He's seen the coastline in Gaza, And I think he can't help but imagine if you had security, if you had economic development, how this could be good for the Palestinian people, but also good for real estate.
What do you think is the probability that Hamas actually disarms? Because if it doesn't, it will shoot just about anyone who challenges its authority. And I'm not sure it cares very much about ethnicity, ideology, or religious observance.
Well, this is going to be the hardest part, getting Hamas, which has governed Gaza for many years, to voluntarily give up their weapons. It was always going to be the hardest part of this deal. That's the big stumbling block now. And so, are the peacekeepers that are going to go in, are they peacekeepers? Or are they peacemakers? Are they going to be expected to forcibly disarm Hamas? That'll be challenging. I do think, though, that having Muslim forces go in from around the region would be even better, would be better than having, say, Americans or Europeans go in. It would reek of kind of colonialism. And I think also much easier for Hamas to kill Americans than co-religionists.
Before I let you go, Matt, The Guardian published a piece today talking about plans not authenticated yet by the Trump administration for a 5,000-person military base inside Gaza, sprawling 350 acres. Is that the kind of thing that you would need to have permanent resources and facilities for a peacekeeping force?
Well, I haven't seen that yet, but one of the lessons the United States learned in Iraq and Afghanistan is that counterinsurgency is personnel heavy. You do need a lot of forces if you're going to maintain order, and so that may be one of the other lessons the United States and its allies have learned from Iraq and Afghanistan. You can't do peace building on the cheap. You do need a heavy security presence to prevent the reoccurrence of conflict.
Matt Kroenig, I appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.